What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today Bungie just dropped a brand new developer insight article detailing how they plan on fundamentally changing Destiny 2 within the future. Today they're focusing on the solo player experience, and so let's get started. Now, the title of this article is Solo Ops. This is going to be a crazy brand new game mode geared at solo players. So here is the TLDR. Solo ops are 10-minute missions that can be completed by single players or fire teams still. They're low commitment options that still allow you to use challenge customization to make progress towards better gear. They are being built for their experiences to stay fresh across repeated plays. So, here is the problem Bungie has identified. Over the last few years, we've built the promise of Destiny as a game where you can come together with other Guardians and enjoy the game together. We've built a lot of new match-made activities from Battlegrounds to Onslaught and rolled out features like Fireteam Finder to make it easier than ever to group up with other people. We've watched our community come together like never before, and that's great. Sometimes you just want to jump in and play for 10 to 20 minutes and feel like it was worth your time. Right now, your only options for doing so either put you in direct competition with other players like Crucible and Gambit, or can feel like you're in a race to the finish against your own fireteam members with Strikes and Battlegrounds. The activities best suited to solo players are time-consuming. Story missions can take half an hour to complete or more. Lost sectors require you to go to the destination to play them, and jumping into multiplayer activities as a solo player, for example, soloing a dungeon, can be stressful and take even more time than the activity would with a fireteam. We've identified a gap in our offerings, short activities that lone players can take at their own pace. Now, that is certainly an issue. The plight of the solo player has been an issue for years now, basically since the inception of Destiny 2. Solo players can find it difficult to have fun and have Destiny 2 be engaging. Now, part of this is Bungie's own fault. I mean, certainly the part about Strikes and Battlegrounds feel like a race. Well, there's no difference in loot at the end, so yes, that 100% is an issue because you're just trying to complete as much as possible because the actual main rewards are at completion's end, and so yeah, it can absolutely be annoying there, but certainly when they're talking about time, it's funny because Bungie has been systematically going in and changing Strikes, updating them, making them more difficult and more time-consuming, right? The old Lake of Shadows, that was incredible for speedruns. The old Arms Dealer Strike, again, that only lasted around 8 minutes, now it lasts way longer. So it's kind of interesting to see Bungie go in and specifically change all these strikes to be harder and longer, and then say, wow, we've identified a gap that there's no short, fun activities. You did this to yourself, Bungie, but I see where they're coming from still. Here is the solution they have identified. So they say, solo ops are activities aimed at short playtimes and manageable for solo players. They will be launched from the portal and have a target-based playtime of 10 minutes. If you're wondering what the portal is, it's this right here. Revealed in a previous Developer Insights article, this is essentially the new destination map. Now, the old destination map is going to be here, accessible from the portal, but this is going to be something that much easier lets players know what they need to be doing in-game and allows them to navigate through the game easier with less confusion, especially for new players. They continue, each solo ops activity emphasizes the fun of Destiny's combat action gameplay, presenting players with straightforward objectives that focus on gunplay. Solo ops missions aren't intended to be intense tests of build crafting prowess or thumb skill. Instead, we want them to focus on the joy of playing in Destiny's action sandbox in a way that's easy to jump into and play in just a few minutes. Now, that actually does sound pretty fun, because like they identified in the problem, you don't always want to do a really long activity, a nightfall, etc. Like, sometimes you literally only have, 10 or 15 minutes to play the game. It'd be nice to play something that has a definitive reward that will improve your character for doing so. Now they talk about reward scaling. Solo ops will support scoring and challenge customization like many of our other activities. And challenge customization again was revealed in a previous Developer Insights article. It's this right here, where you can choose your own modifiers for the activity. The more modifiers, the more power scaling you choose, the better the rewards will be. They say, as such, they will allow players to make incremental progress towards better and more powerful gear, and support customizing the difficulty of the activity with a wide variety of modifiers. You'll still want to play well in solo ops activities. Your score will contribute to the quality of your loot. But we're trying to construct these missions so that getting a good score is a matter of moving, shooting, and looting rather than being determined by what loadout and build you bring into them. Now, they continue with mission variability. Another goal of solo ops is to create activities with higher variability between plays. Since you'll be playing these missions as a way of making progress towards better gear, we are trying to make sure they stay fresh longer and are making them less predictable in what content you see. For example, at this time, we're aiming to have each mission come with a variant of at least 2 combatant factions, each one with a unique objective associated with it, and solo ops missions will sometimes come with optional goals that only present themselves once you're in the activity, like the presence of treasure goblins or passageways to secret rooms opening where they are normally closed. We're also scattering random treasure chests throughout the activity, and finding them will get you a bonus to your final score. That sounds actually sick. Dude, I want treasure goblins and normal strikes. Like, that would be awesome. They continue. One piece of activity tech that we have been working to build for these missions is a dynamic enemy spawning system. The system runs behind the scenes, monitoring how well you're doing and how long it's been since you've been in combat, and how close you're getting to your objective, and then spawns squads of enemies when the system determines that you need to be challenged. Unlike our other activities where enemy spawn cadence and locations are often very scripted, solo ops missions will spawn enemies at unpredictable times from places where you may not expect them to be. Alright, that's interesting. And the last section here is visiting exciting locations. Since solo ops are a part of the core game that is free to play for everyone, we also wanted to take advantage of the fact that across the game there are many locations that are either not used in free content or are underused despite being a fun place to play. A lot of beautiful, exciting spaces play host to only a single story mission, and players have no reason to go to those places outside of that mission. Some, like the Saltzworks area of the EDZ, are currently entirely unused. These are awesome, unique Destiny spaces, and we think solo ops is a great venue for going back and visiting some of these places that may not have gotten as much attention as their craftsmanship deserves. Solo ops missions will take you into spaces that you might have visited before, but the new objectives and dynamic enemy spawn system help to make the experience feel both fresh and familiar. For many players, solo ops missions might be the first time you go to these locations, and we think everyone should have a chance to experience these iconic spaces. Overall, we hope that the solo ops missions will be a good activity for players who only have a short amount of time to play, prefer to play by themselves, or are looking for a lower intensity way to reveal the Destiny gameplay sandbox, as well as any combination of those three. So, that's pretty darn interesting. Before I give my thoughts, they do actually have an FAQ, and this is probably going to answer some of the questions you guys might have as well. First of all, can you only play them solo, or can they be played in a fire team? They say solo ops activities will accommodate up to 3-player fire teams, because we never want to tell you that you can't play with your friends. We are working on a system to automatically scale the difficulty of the encounter based on your fire team size. However, if you want to play with other people, fireteam ops are going to offer the more efficient path to getting better gear. Will solo ops support matchmaking? No. If you want to play with other people, fireteam ops is going to be the way to go. And then they say, will solo ops include champions, banes, or specific modifiers? They say, we haven't locked down any specific set of modifiers that we are going to support in solo ops. We can't just use the same modifiers as, say, strikes, because we're really aiming at a tight experience that solo players can enjoy. And we want to make sure the modifiers we allow don't push the missions away from that experience. We do plan to support Banes, as we think they offer an exciting way to increase the variety of experiences you have across multiple plays. Alright, so there you go, and that was actually one of the main things I was wondering when reading this. It's like, okay, they're called solo ops, but you can still play them with a fire team, like, what do you mean? But they will not support matchmaking. This is huge. Like, that is really the reason that distinguishes them from normal strikes. Is like, yes, you can play with a fire team, but it has to be a pre-made fire team. Like, you will be going in there solo every time unless you purposely invite your friends to your fire team before you launch that activity. And that overall is, again, really interesting. Now, the thing I'm wondering is, like, the loot, because, you know, they say, all right, listen, if you're playing with a fire team, then definitely fire team ops are the way to go. But if they make solo ops rewarding enough, right, with the loot goblins and stuff, people are just gonna squad up and spam solo ops. Like, at the end of the day, most players in Destiny 2 are reward oriented. It's a loot based game, for goodness sakes. They're gonna play whatever gives the most efficient loot. So if you want fire teams to stick with fire teams ops, you really need to make fire teams ops just outright more rewarding than solo ops, which kind of does suck for the solo players playing solo ops. However, you know, if it's a little bit less rewarding, again, I can see still the benefits of solo ops. Regardless, guys, this is super interesting. They're basically saying, like, in Frontiers, so that's going to start with Codename Apollo, a medium-sized DLC that's coming out in summer 2025, there's just going to be a whole new set of activities called solo ops. And it sounds like they're being designed essentially from the ground up. So that's basically like if they introduced, like, imagine if strikes don't exist, and then they say, yeah, for this DLC, we're introducing strikes. Like, that's kind of a big deal. Like, saying, we're going to introduce solo ops, there's going to be a bunch of different solo ops missions, and they're all being made, like, from scratch, basically, although they will take place on existing destinations. And it's going to be a brand new, big playlist you can select, starting with Codename Apollo with Destiny 2 Frontiers. Again, that is super interesting, and hopefully this does work. I've found myself at times, like, just wondering what to do if I'm about to get off soon. You know, I don't have a specific main activity I want to do. You're like, what exactly do I play? Solo ops could be a great thing to grind. I wonder if solo ops will drop catalysts, because right now, farming strikes and farming crucible, a lot of people are doing it for the catalysts. It'd be sick if you could get them from solo ops as well. But yeah, this is just a really interesting thing. Certainly, this would be something really good for onboarding new players. You know, you throw in a new player against a dungeon right away or a big battlegrounds activity, they're going, what the heck is going on? We all know that nobody knows how to throw the balls in the corrupted strike at their teammates to charge them, right? So having less complicated objectives like that will absolutely help new players onboard into the franchise. Could be a really big deal, or could just end up being an activity that no one plays. What do you guys think is going to happen? Let me know in the comment section down below. Guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating or especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKakis. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.